DIY or Die, Walker Vapor Group LLC, or any of its associates do not condone nor encourage the use of nicotine, vapor products, or any mood-altering substances without the explicit consent of a physician. The content viewable on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only and not meant to be seen as informational or educational. Must be 21 years or older to view these materials.
Silky beat. Mixers, welcome back to another episode of the MIXINVIXENS. My name is Emily, also known as Milton Icon. Please say hello to my other Vixens. We've got Jen, the Eju's Fairy. Hello.
What's up, y'all?
And we've got Leilani.
Hey, now.
Hey, and today we have our special guest. We've got RavenShadowVapes. How you doing?
How you doing, Raven?
I'm doing good.
Oh, you have a little bit of a lag there.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's okay. It's okay. I've come in and off and on camera several times. As a matter of fact, in a few minutes, you guys are going to lose me and get me back because my camera is doing something funky.
Well, how's everyone's weekend going?
My weekend's gone great. I was forced out of the house on Friday night, pulled out of my house to go to a concert. I was so cranky. I'm not kidding.
What? You normally love going out and doing things. You talk about it.
That's what all my friends said, because Friday when they called, they were like, okay, we're coming to get you. And I was like, I don't know. They were like, I can't believe, of all people, you're going to say you're not, we would think you'd be jumping all over this. You're always complaining about not wanting to be in the house and wanting to go out somewhere. I said, it's freaking Friday. It's my freaking late day at work. And you guys want me to get up, get dressed, and go out after this? I need some me time. And then they were here 30 minutes early. And I was like, oh, God, you guys are stressing me out. Then I had one drink. Oh, and then I got there, and the freaking drinks were $14 for one drink. I almost had a heart attack on the first one.
Oh, my goodness.
$14? What is it, Disney World?
It's what I said. And,
Get out of here.
So as I'm paying for the first one and tipping, it's, $18 right there. I left a $4 tip, and I'm having a heart attack. But after that one drink goes all the way down and your head gets buzzed, the rest of them I didn't give a damn how much they were.
Mm-hmm.
We just kept on.
And that's what they count on.
Yeah.
Man.
See, I thought we were gonna lose me, but we lost you, Emily.
No, I'm adjusting my straps.
Girl stuff. Just you don't want any of your golden
He said that live, y'all. Did anybody record that?
The things that like you used to hang up delicate stuff with like the little straps to use the hanger. They were sticking out.
Well, you can say that now that you're back on the light, but we knew what you were doing.
So I was adjusting that, and I didn't think everyone needed to see.
I just wore a zipper tonight so that I don't have to adjust anything.
Anyway, my weekend was great. I didn't do anything. It was very uneventful. I just sat home and knit, and it was great.
It's so funny to hear you say I sat home and knit.
I know, right? Like I'm becoming a grandmother.
What did you knit?
I'm knitting a hat for my wife right now.
Aww, that's so cute.
Yeah, I'm getting into it. Like I'm loving it. It's fun.
I'm gonna start a little mini
look there. I did the whole flip thing on the cameras, and it was almost eventless unless I pointed it out like I just did.
Okay. Raven, how was your weekend?
Did you do anything special?
Nice and slow. Sit around, watch TV, mix.
Did you mix anything special? Anything different?
Nothing different.
Nothing different.
So, is anybody gonna watch the Super Bowl?
Well, no, because we're here. No, yeah, we'll watch it
Halftime
after.
show. I got to see them new commercials. That's for sure. I heard like
That's the
this
only reason
year,
I watched the Super Bowl. It's for the
I think that's like
commercials.
90% of people because none of my teams are picked. So I'm just like, blah, commercial. And Janet, I was like, oh, I want Janet to come on because I want another.
Well, and you know what's crappy is that in Canada we don't get the awesome new American commercials.
What do you mean?
Like
Wait, what?
we get some of them, but it's just different, and it's not as like, I don't know, like we don't get all of them like you guys do. And that used to be the only reason I would watch the Super Bowl anyways. Well, I would, if I went to a Super Bowl party, we would bet, I would gamble, we would bet, and then so I'd watch it because of that, or I'd watch it because of the commercials. And now it's like, like, I don't know.
Can you stream it like online to catch them, or you're gonna have to wait till afterwards?
Probably wait till afterwards. I mean, like there'll be some, but I don't know. It's just not
Nothing good.
Not all of
Well,
them. Yeah,
I don't even know what. I don't know. I don't know which ones, which commercials are going to come on, but they come out through the whole game, don't they?
Yeah,
Not just during halftime show.
through the whole game. Who's
Yeah, I think you're right.
doing the halftime show this year?
I don't remember which one was like the best like commercial. I like oh, I forgot her name, the Golden Girl. She did one.
Betty White.
Betty. Yeah, she was funny. And then I think like the classic one was like the what's that? Whenever I remember
Yeah.
everybody and their mama was doing that, like what's that? I hope something cute and funny like that comes on. That was awesome. It's such like a bro, like a what's up, bro? What's up?
I still do that. I still do that.
Anyone get anything new?
New flavors? No, I ordered
New
them all.
flavors or new equipment? Or
Yeah, I ordered the top side. I'm excited. It was guilty pleasure.
I'm excited for you.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I ordered it, and I also ordered. Let me see, what's the other one? The recurve squonk mod. But I was told that I might not like that one as much because you got to build for it because it's kind of like mechanical.
Yeah.
It's got some protection to it. But so I don't know. But I that one was used from a friend, so it was a really good deal.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see. You guys got me into using this dripper thing.
I got the Voopoo V-Mate in. I just bought it to replace my RX 200 broke last week, and so I got this, and it's okay. And then I got the gear RTA, really good flavor for a tank. Really easy to build and wick.
How much juice does it hold?
Oh God, it comes in the bubble glass, which I think makes it like 3, but I think the straight glass is only like 1.5 or 2 mils. Like it's super tiny. Like it's like here's the Hadley with the gear. Like it's almost as short as like an RDA, you know. So it's
so then the flavor should be pretty good. Is it dual?
Flavor's good. Yeah, it's single coil.
Single coil.
Single coil. Yeah. So the flavor's pretty darn good on it. And the Voopoo, the V-Mate is just, it's so pretty. I like how it looks. That's why I bought it. I buy for looks. But I'm not too thrilled with it because like the batteries have these magnetic doors on each side. So it and it has like a little bit of
play.
Changing batteries is a little bit of a pain because it's got 2 separate areas that you have to, you know. But
yeah, what if you take a battery out and you forget which one did I take out? You have to wait till you put the other one in, click it on, check and see which one needs. Does it give you both battery readings or individual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it gives you both battery readings, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. That's a little bit. See, I like smaller in the hand mods. I have bad wrists from carpal tunnel from work. So, like on Friday, I was wearing my wristbands on both of my hands. I looked like a mummy because I had both the hands wrapped up. And I was typing like this, and it got better. It got better yesterday, but I think that one of my mods did it. I think it was holding one of my mods too long one day.
Wow.
Gosh, you know, like that's a hard thing about getting old. Stuff that didn't used to hurts. Just holding a mod hurts my wrist.
That's not nice. Are you calling me old?
I'm just saying, like my knees hurt when I wake up in the morning.
I'm the eldest amongst you. You're not supposed to let other people know that.
Nobody, girl, old is like, for me, old is like past 25. We're all old.
I'm ancient because I'm almost.
My students, they look at me with the side eye. I'm like, girl, I can't even, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell you. I got melanin, so that helps me out. I got more melanin than you.
Yeah.
Winstead. So
yeah, you're right.
This won't crack for at least another 40 years, but my insides are broke. Everything hurts.
I got plenty of melanin. I must have it because I mean I'm only 2 years shy of half a century.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know that.
When my son turned 25 a couple days ago, I was like, "Holy shit! How do I have a son that's 25?
Girl.
How did that happen?"
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like when your daughter turns 26, your son turns 18, and your daughter turns 16. You're going, what happened to my life?
Yes. My daughter will be 18 this year, and I'm like, and she's the baby. I'm having a major hard time letting go of that one.
Well, for what it's worth, ladies, both of you, neither one of you look like you're old enough to have kids that old.
True.
Well, thank you.
So
thank you. And if my son gets my genes, he'll have a head full of gray hair, and he'll look older than me in no time. He won't color like I do. And he does not have as much melanin. He looks very Caucasian.
So let's talk about some mixes. What have you guys been mixing lately? I know RavenShadowVapes just dropped a new one. And Jen, you've been working on one. Leilani, have you been doing any mixing?
No. I'm still on my single flavor quest.
Yeah, you've been banging those reviews out.
I'm trying, and I'm like, I'm doing my best.
I said you're a machine.
Girl, I'm trying to get done at least 10 to 14 a day, like at least 4 days a week.
Holy crap, why?
Because, girl, I know flavors don't quote unquote expire, but I'm trying not to let them sit in my cabinet too long because I don't want like the potency to go down. Some of them are like, they're not in PET bottles, and I had read somewhere that you should really switch them to glass or PET if they're not, and I know some of them aren't, but I'm like, let me get to these ones first and get to the rest of them. It's just like, I'm up to 900 some flavors, okay? And I don't care what anybody says, I'm single flavor testing each and every one, or it's a waste of my time and my money. And I'm like, this is money right here. I need to get rid of the ones that I'm not gonna use and keep the ones that I am gonna use. You know what I mean? And
No, that sounds great. I would do that, but like, I'm always afraid as soon as I throw something out, I'm going to need it for something.
That's happened to me countless times because I threw away everything from Flavor West at one time. I was like,
the
okay,
only thing I've thrown away is TFA cheesecake. So I don't care what anybody says, I will never use it for anything.
I'm telling, like, I don't technically throw them away. I put them in my like cabinet where I keep all my baking stuff because I'm like, oh, I could use this for yogurt, or maybe I can use this for a smoothie if it tastes like decent enough, but I'm not going to use it in like vape, you know, because it's not going to do it. But like, maybe like a yogurt when I'm rushing out the house and I need like a hazelnut that's kind of so-so, throw that in there, you know. But other than that, I think, the only person's recipe I did mix up new was Joey's I don't know how to say her handle. Hibidare. I think
hip,
that's
hip hooray!
Hip hip
Joey,
hooray!
Hip hooray!
For Hibidare.
I
Yes,
don't know. Anyway, it's Joey Henderson.
Yeah, Joey. I made a Joey's Yes We coconut because she didn't have a steep time. Trust me, people in chat, I looked through most of your recipes to see if I had the exact same flavors. Like 80% of you I didn't, 4 of you I did, but the ones that I did have the flavors for, your steep times were like 2 weeks or a month. And I was like, oh, there was a coffee one submitted by somebody. I haven't had a coffee, I sound real New York, coffee vape in a really long time. And I really want to mix it. but I mixed Joey's Yes Sweet Coconut. She did it for the Fabulous Asian Dude one.
Yeah.
It smells, but it's only been steeping for 3 days, so I wanna give it a go. It smells really nice, and that's about it. What about you, Raven?
I have a few things mentally I'm working on. I'm trying to get percentages and that figured out because pineapple is one of those that's easily overwhelmed with creams and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely. Sometimes you just got to go lower on the creams when they're easily overwhelmed.
The other one that I'm mentally still trying to work on is a butterscotch RY4 banana.
Ooh.
Oh.
Do you like tobaccos like that?
I got hooked on RY4s just by trying Glass Basics Butterscotch Reserve. And
how
the
was
way
that
tastes it's amazing.
Okay, hold on. Who's this? Whose recipe is that?
Glass Basics.
Glass Basics.
Have you tried? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is that a commercial juice?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Did you try that new RY4 custard from the Develop Boys?
Real nice labeling.
Totally good and respectful labeling.
Yep, nothing child appealing about it at all.
Awesome.
But it's one of the best RY4s I've ever tasted.
What's your favorite RY4 flavoring?
I really like TPA's double RY4 because it's got those caramel notes, but it's also got that like dark hint of vanilla to it without it being peppery.
Yeah, I like TFA RY4 too. It was my original RY4 in everything I ever made.
It's just there's something about it. It's just really dirty to me.
I think it's the caramel notes. It's those caramel notes that are really burnty, and that's what you're picking up. It's got that burnt caramel taste. So it's not burnt. It's burnt. That's what you don't like.
And with any RY4, I've noticed if you go higher wattage, it gets ashy real quick.
Yeah.
Even at 1%.
That's why I like Soho. Like, to me, that tastes what an RA4 should taste like.
Oh, God. I'm rolling my eyes trying to keep them on my head so I don't roll them.
To any tobacco people, it's like...
I love Soho.
It's like a bunch of gamers, and they have a friend that uses a Mac. And they're like, I really like my Mac. And they just roll their eyes like, yeah, you think you're a computer person and you have a Mac? I'm like, it's like that. Like, to tobacco people, and I tell them I like Soho. They're like,
but I mean, I love Soho. My favorite for a long time was just Soho 7% and meringue 3%, period. And I vape that. That's my comfort juice, you know, that you can taste through just about anything.
Yeah, and it's so versatile. You can use it a little bit, or you can crank it up, and it just...
You crank it up to 14%, and it's perfectly fine. So I don't know if anybody caught my hurricane party recipe that I posted in DIY or Die Collective and Flavor Addicts, and I posted it everywhere. I did not post it in the MIXINVIXENS because it's not relevant to any of our recipes, but maybe I will after the show. So my hurricane party is inspired from the mixed drink, a hurricane. Hurricane is made with light rum, 2 ounces light rum, 2 ounces dark rum, 6 ounces of passion fruit, 6 ounces of orange juice, and 2 tablespoons of grenadine. Well, before the show came on, I was telling Emily that I didn't add grenadine because it's an orange type flavor. And she says, no, it's pomegranate. And I was like, no, it's not. Then I pulled it up. Yeah, it is. Well, this has no pomegranate. So we forfeited pomegranate on it.
You really outed yourself. You could have, this was before the show. The cameras weren't rolling.
Yeah, whatever. Other people will know. Other people will know, and they'll be like, she's so dumb. So I'll just go ahead and out myself live and let y'all know I messed up. But I didn't really mess up because the flavor is fabulous.
Well, and grenadine, it's just used for color and a little bit of red, but the passion fruit has enough, I think, of that red. I think you're good, and it sounds delicious. Hurricane's one of my favorite drinks.
And the grenadine in it is only 2 tablespoons, that whole drink. So it's just there for the color, I believe. Anyhow, I use Jamaican rum and bourbon, a mix of that to make the overall boozy note on it. And you would think that using Jamaican rum at 2% with 0.10 of the bourbon flavora, that would be really upfront, especially 2% FA Jamaican rum, but it's not. I use 2% sweet tangerine, 2% vanilla swirl. I'm all over the place here. Passion fruit at 1.5%. And a little bit of, I said vanilla swirl already, right? Shisha strawberry. I use that at 1% just to sweeten everything up. You can't really, I guess if I really think about it, I think I could taste the strawberry.
Yeah.
How long has it been steeping for?
Shake and bake, baby.
Oh, shake and bake. Oh, snap.
Shake and bake overnight. I did put notes in there that it's probably for people who are sensitive to citric notes because it's got the lime Tahiti cold press. It's only 0.25%, but some people are really sensitive to citric notes and get soreness in the throat. And it's better to let it sit overnight or up to 3 days. But it's really delicious, sweet, and juicy. And I've been vaping it all day. It was a very nice change of pace for me. Did
you post this on ATF?
No, it's on ELR.
ELR.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I use ELR for the most part. I'll transfer to ATF after I've vetted it a couple days or whenever I get unlazy. Because at the end of the day, I'm using ELR to create the recipes, and transferring to ATF is a second notion, secondary.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. It's juicy. It's like a cup full of juice with some rum in it, as a drink should be, instead of rum with a little bit of juice. Anyhow, it's a girly drink.
Sounds good.
Awesome. It sounds great.
Drink.
Sounds good.
Oh, Raven, what have you mixed up?
Well, I know one you all did was the eggnog one.
Eggnog?
With the peppermint.
Oh, yeah.
Did you mix one of those from us?
I mixed it up before the show and called it Dark Nog.
You were the one who submitted that picture.
It's got Mulligan's chocolate.
Yes.
And Flavor West candy cane. Oh, this looks good.
That is the one thing I would do different with that mix is completely drop the Flavor West candy cane, because that just overpowered everything.
Oh yeah. Well, there's only 0.5% of it in there. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's how strong of a flavor the candy cane is.
Huh.
You think so? For me, candy cane from Flavor West is very, and maybe I had an old bottle, but for me, it's very creamy and very light on peppermint. But then again, I use FA peppermint.
I think what overpowered it is the fact I'd use the Liquid Barn white chocolate peppermint.
The white chocolate peppermint.
Oh, that's true. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So with
you
that,
could drop out that candy cane altogether.
That's very true.
It's such a good peppermint. When you use the thing I love about white chocolate peppermint is that when you use it low like this, you don't get much of the white chocolate. You just get a nice creamy peppermint, and this mix looks awesome. A little bit of bourbon, just give it a little bite.
I haven't tried the white chocolate peppermint.
I would up the eggnog. I would up the eggnog on that, because for me personally, it didn't have enough of the eggnog flavor.
Well, speaking of personally, before you continue on, I know people know you in all the chats, like, because you're always on Fresh's show, in the chat room, you're in this one. I think did I meet you on like Mike Vapes' chat or Fresh's chat?
It was Fresh's.
It was Fresh's?
Mm-hmm.
But people who don't know you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, when you started mixing, what you enjoy besides mixing? I know you build.
I do basic builds. Being site impaired, it's harder to do the more specialized builds, but basic twisted builds and round builds, no problem. Mixing, I've been doing now about a year.
I was reading through chat. Cloudy King agreed with me. Soho is not tobacco, Emily.
I saw that. I chose to ignore it. Love you, Cloud King Cody, but it's a tobacco. I don't care what you say. It's just as much tobacco as I'm gonna play with.
Cloudy King also wants to know what % would you use angel cake at, Leilani?
It's like their fluffy white cake. Like maybe 3. I like their fluffy white cake at 4%. So I would say like 3-4% in a recipe if you want it to like stand out, but it's a little bit yeasty. So, but I would try it at that.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3% for me. It's a really good flavor. They do their bakeries well.
They do their bakeries. Those are the cakes that don't have any spice.
Yeah, so they're versatile. You can use them in.
They're very versatile. I like that one.
I like to pair the fluffy white and the angel cake.
Yeah, the fluffy white one. I just finished testing that not too long ago, and I found it really nice at 4%. 3%.
Oh my God, Leilani, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt.
What?
We got our first time.
We got our first super chat.
Woo! Thank you,
Thank you.
Oh, snap.
That's awesome.
That was an interruption. That was worthy. I was like, oh my God, that's the first one ever.
First one ever. Vape Ross Vape.
Vape Ross Vape. Thank you, homie. If we split it 4 ways between the 4 of us, we can both pay. We can all pay for parking. Thank you, Vape Ross Vape.
I don't know. Parking here is pretty expensive, man.
we get at least 15 minutes on the meter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, homie.
That was exciting.
I don't even know where we were.
Me neither. I lost track. I was like, oh, look, we got a blue thingy. It popped up in blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, back on track. Let's talk.
We were talking about Wonder Flavor's fluffy white cake.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so no, we did it again.
That's what's up, homie. Making everybody else in chat a little jealous here. They'll be mad, chat. We got cash.
That's right.
You just want to make sure each one of us had $1 for parking.
Thank you.
Nice.
It was awesome. Thank you so much.
We're all sleeping on princess cake. No, siree. No. Princess cake is amazing. I made a little 1, 2, 3 jobber out of it, and it's delicious.
I haven't tried that yet.
What? It's fruit. It's like a fruity white cake. It's got a little bit like a raspberry note to it. It's so good, and it's like a really complex flavor. I mean, that's why it works in my 1, 2, 3 because it's such a complex flavor that it works really well. It's
so
good.
Would it be a good standalone, like for a run, a shake and run?
Yeah,
you can work in a pod.
Yeah, I think so because it's got like some top note to it, which is what you need in a pod, really. Yeah, go for it. Do it up.
I'll try it. I don't know why I can't really vape, but I've been trying really hard to enjoy bakeries and my pods, but it's almost like my pods are my fruit. Period.
Yeah, I've never tried a bakery or cream in pods. I've always only done fruits or occasionally tobaccos when I have to. But fruits mostly, or like mint.
So Soho when you have to?
What?
So Soho when you have to?
I've been known to use red burley as well when I have to. And some other stuff. Like, it's only when people with money make me.
Yeah, money is a good motivator.
If a company with money, says, I will give you some of my money if you make me a tobacco. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll make
Wait, Emily, stop. We got another donation.
Oh,
Rob S.
Rob S.
He tapped me around $4.01.
Woohoo!
Oh, snap.
Kisses!
Vape
Kisses
Boss
from the
Baby.
fairy.
Speaking of pods, you said you don't like bakeries in a pod, Jen?
No, not yet. They've
There
ruined
is one bakery I've found for a pod that I absolutely love, and that's Crumbs Flaky on the Fringe.
But I think it's because pods don't get warm enough for me to enjoy any creams or any bakeries. I think I need more warmth when it comes. Well, first off, let's just go ahead and be completely honest. I'm not a bakery person to begin with. So mostly cream person and fruity creams at that. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to keep playing with it. I do have a pod that I have a couple of pods set aside that I've been using for, I've tried tobaccos. I've tried everything, but it just feels so refreshing to get. And I don't vape menthol in anything other than a pod.
Yeah, because menthol just comes through so well. And
it makes it so smooth. And it's not that cold in a pod. The menthol isn't like freezing your mouth and your lungs and your eyeballs. You don't turn blue with it. You know, I don't know. It's weird how I vape differently depending on the device.
There is a bid. I'm sorry. There's a bidding competition going on right now, like a donation competition. Vape Ross Vape just donated $5.
He said we can quit our jobs.
Do I have to like donate? Do I have to do this stuff?
Okay,
that's for the donation. You get a little bit of.
You guys think there's something under here?
I will be the last one to stop you, Leilani. But
does anybody think there's anything under here?
See that we should do like Twitch streamers. All of us, Raven, you two, we all wear tank tops. I don't have chat. I'm sorry, I don't have.
That'd be scary. That'd be scary.
Kim Dixon says she does like I do with the pods. Are you saying you do like I do with the pods, where you vape differently depending on the device? I think that's what she meant. I think so.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Let's go with it. Unless she says differently, she'll answer in a little bit. But you know, there's a little delay in the chat versus what we're seeing on our side.
Gosh.
Oh, Raven, have you ever mixed for pods, or do you just like, what do you mix for, like your RDA or for tanks?
I mix mainly for RDA and Subum.
And what do you use in the pods? Do you buy snake salts or do you mix those?
I have some that I actually won from Vape Radio, but I dilute them down because they're like 45 and 50. So I dilute them way down with VG, which makes them a lot more palatable.
PG or VG?
VG.
VG. So the drop allows you to use a high VG ratio?
Yes.
It doesn't burn the coils?
Nope.
I use at least 50-50 with the Duran Air and with Infinix.
The Nick salts that I've got, they're actually 70-30, so it ups the VG factor even more by adding, because I'll half it. I'll add half of the actual flavor and then top that off with VG.
Okay. Sounds good. So where do you get your Nick salts from?
Like I said, I'd won mine from Vape Radio.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. I was confused. I confused myself there.
We all do that.
I do it a lot, though.
You know what I'm going to ask? I'm going to ask this question that I ask everybody because I think it's interesting and people want to know. So you've been mixing for a year. You have a few mixes on your ELR. Of those mixes, or maybe one that's not published, what's one that like represents Raven? You know, one that either you're the proudest of, or one that like is most in your wheelhouse, or one that just kind of like showcases your style the most. Like, what would be your recipe that you would
There's two.
Ooh,
That
okay.
would be my Raz Choco Yo-Yo, because I love chocolate and I love raspberry and I love yogurt.
Such a good combination.
And my Apple My Bacco.
Yeah, and that one you just finished not too long ago. So that's your nice.
And that one I thought it through for over a month before I actually mixed it.
You know,
I asked other mixers their advice on percents.
I will theory craft in my head like over and over until before I even start mixing stuff most of the time. Like I'll just sit there and think and ponder and try, because I mean, for the most part, I know what a lot of flavors taste like from doing so many single flavor tests. So like
one of my keys for making my mixes work, and a lot of people don't do this, I'll directly knuckle test the actual flavor so I know what the core flavor is.
Yeah,
and especially like with tobaccos and that, if you have to be careful because a lot of them can get ashy. But also don't be afraid to read what other mixers are saying about flavors, because that information can be miles and miles of good for new mixers.
Yeah, there's so many awesome flavor reviews out there now. Like, it's great.
And too many mixers are afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
A lot of mixers are afraid to ask the question. The best advice I can give any new mixer: the only dumb question you ask is the one you don't ask.
For sure.
No matter how stupid it may sound to yourself.
Yeah, because everyone in this community is so friendly and
Leilani helps with mixing. Emily without Resh helps. Addie helps. Jen helps. Ask in mixing groups. Just don't ever be afraid to ask a question.
And I'm really an excellent person at answering a question that shouldn't be answered in a group that is specified for a specific thing. And I'm an admin in a lot of groups, then shutting it down after I answered and say, okay, I'm not going to answer anymore. I'm going to shut this post down because it's not really allowed. But this is where you find the information. Shutting it down because you might get trolled. Close it up so that nobody else jump in there and say whatever it is. I just did that yesterday with somebody. I was asking how to advocate in one of the mixing groups that they only do mixing. Like they don't want to talk about anything else. And I'm an admin there. And I was like, okay, here's the link to Kasai. I'm shutting down the question. Thanks for asking. PM me directly. Closed.
Trolls can be bad because, we've seen nicotine questions for 1,000 times, but this is their first time and they ask you, so they don't know that. So most of the people, there are some really bad trolls, but most of the people in the community are super friendly, and helpful, and don't feel bad about asking any questions.
Yeah, the one thing that, and you know what, pigging back off of Raven, like don't be afraid to ask questions. Before I go into something else, like when everybody first got started mixing, who was the person that you talked to and really connected with to help you move forward in your mixing?
It was me for Emily.
Yep.
Really?
I was one of those people that asked the stupid questions, and it was Jennifer, both JJ and Jen chimed right in and helped me out, and it was something stupid about a cream. What's the best cream to use for something? And they were like, they didn't make me feel silly at all. And they helped me out.
I remember when Emily first came in. I remember when she popped in. I was like, oh my God.
I bet I made you do a face bomb. What about you, Raven? Did you have like a mentor or like someone that that kind of stood out and helped you out?
Fresh 03.
Yeah.
That's who I started.
She's the man. Love me some Fresh.
And Addie Tooney. They have been the best at answering any of my questions.
Addie's a sweetheart.
Even Leilani, Daytime Frank. I mean, they will take the time to actually answer you. And a lot of people don't have that kind of consideration when somebody asks a question.
Well, sometimes it's also a matter of time because, you know what? I mean, I don't mean this in a bad
True.
way either. I've been doing it a really long time, and I admin in several groups. And one of the things that sometimes gets a little bit overwhelming for people who are in that many groups is that the person will ask a question in the main group, and you're answering it there, and then they stop asking questions there, and they pop into chat and want to PM you the questions. But if you're answering them in private message versus in the group, less people can learn. So it's actually better to ask it in a group. And it doesn't make you sound dumb because you're interacting, right? But then somebody else might come along that has the same exact question, and they'll see that question and then the answers underneath it. So it's not so much that I don't want to go into chat to answer those questions. It's more a matter of let's help the entire community. Let's help more people.
And I agree, but you know what? The one thing about it is that sometimes people don't like to be put in the light, and they rather take you to the side and ask you. You know, when they, like, as a teacher, I notice this a lot with students. Like, you can see it in their face, like they want to ask in front of everybody, but they don't want to look silly in their mind, because this is something that maybe they should have. And that's one thing that a lot of people get on other, like, why didn't you do research? Did you look before you even asked a question? Maybe they, and the thing is with DIY, there's multiple answers to one question. Everybody has a different opinion. And sometimes they just want yours. They don't want like 20, 30 people chiming in. You know what I mean? And I think it's important for people to be open to those private questions along with like the open ones.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not open to them, because I do have I do end up answering a lot of questions in private.
Oh, I know you do. I see you.
So, Leilani, you didn't tell us who was your mentor or someone that kind of stood out and helped you out.
Oh, it was fresh. It was fresh because I was on My Vaporium. I think it was like 3 years ago. I started off there, and I wanted to just get, not really, I wasn't even into mixing. I just wanted to get like the new addies and new mods and da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, I was reading, I forgot what forum I was reading in My Vaporium, because they have like different rooms. And then I started reading his notes, and I was like, I can save money, because I already started building my own coils. So all of a sudden, I started doing Fresh's book, like his tip guide. Because I was like, it was like in a weird Microsoft Word document, and there was like no spaces. And I'm like, shoot, I can do this. I'm an artist. I can pretty this up for you. So when I started reading his stuff, I started learning from it, because I was word for word writing what he was writing and rereading and rechecking. And then he started guiding me. So Fresh was my guide. He is my sensei. Thank you, Fresh. So that's mine.
I didn't meet Fresh till last year.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever seen him, because I've never been a YouTube person, never been watching YouTube. Actually, maybe it was the year before, because we've already been doing this live for a year now, and it was like 6 months before that, maybe. So,
who was your guy?
By the way, if you guys hear any moaning and groaning, it's because my husband's watching the game in the other room. And if you hear a whoa, or if you hear an explosion over there, it's because something happened.
Well, so Jen Winstead. Oh, hold on, Emily.
Go ahead.
One question. Who was your guide, or were you like one of the pioneers? Because I want to know this. This is
when I first started mixing, there was nothing. There was no YouTube. There was no Facebook yet. There was ELR wasn't even around. There was ECF, a lot of reading. All of mine were pretty much trial and errors. I wasn't active. You know, I had an ECF account, but I never went in there because I never could figure out how the hell to chat, you know, and I didn't even have a laptop back then. I had a desktop. So it was a lot. Me, it was just Loran's. I would say, believe it or not, Arnie, I don't know if people remember him, Arnie Horton. he was the first person to reach out to me because I posted several ELR recipes when ELR separated from ECF. You know, that's where ELR started. The maker of ELR was part of ECF and he broke off and started ELR. I mean, it's just such a long story. But anyhow, Arnie reached out to me. He says, you have some really good recipes. Do you mind if I post them for you? And I was like, sure. And he started posting, you know, my recipes. He was like, Arnie presents the Aegis Fairies blah 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 recipe that Arnie present, and then I finally figured out how the hell to log into these things and post my own recipes. So I mean,
nice.
So he helped you showcase your recipes. Did he give you any? Did you guys brainstorm together or do like tips?
Arnie he was a mass mixer. He would mix a lot of stuff, but a lot of his stuff was also theory crafting, and he would publish his theory crafts, and he had a number to hit. I think it was 2,000 recipes. Once he hit 2,000 recipes, he was going to be out. And sure enough, when he hit 2,000 recipes, he retired from posting recipes. And a lot of people did not agree with his theory crafting being posted publicly because he didn't know if those recipes were actually any good, but he had some really good recipes out there. And he's from North Carolina. I met him and I met Debbie at, well, when Bull City Flavors was Bull City Vapors, and they first came to North Carolina, I went with them to one of the vape expos as one of their mixers. And I personally met a lot of people that knew me there that I didn't know knew me just from being in the forums. I mean, it was just weird. Just one of those weird things. And then it just evolved. That's I found awesome. Facebook. I found one Facebook group. I'm still a part of that group, even though it's quiet. And just a lot of stuff that's happened through the years.
You've been through it through the past couple of years. And
when Liquid Barn first came out, I was in the group that introduced them to the DIY community.
Wow.
So
you're the pioneer.
I know all the stories between Liquid Barn and Nicotine River. I know all those stories. I was there. I was there for all
the scoop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Raven, you started mixing a year ago, right?
Right, but I did almost 9 months worth of research before I actually started mixing.
And
I had been watching Fresh's show for 9 months before I actually started mixing.
Oh wow.
That's
so when you were watching his show and you were doing research, what was the most informative, what was the most, I guess, influential thing that informed your decision when you started mixing? Like what flavoring houses to choose from? Because some people only stick with one flavoring house or maybe even two, and they don't even try the rest. So like what information did you gather that made you started mixing, and what flavoring houses did you pick to start trying?
Going back and watching majority of his single flavor videos where he talked about single flavors and what his top ones were, mm-hmm. and his description of each flavor was a big help. Watching Noted has really helped me with picking and choosing my flavors because of how in-depth Noted actually goes on their flavor descriptions and the torture that those poor people put themselves through for some really bad flavorings from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I was so scared to try it. Like it took me a long time to get into it. I was intimidated and didn't want to try it. And then a friend of mine was like, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm like, you should, and I should do it too. Let's do it together. And so because kind of his push into it helped me get into it. And then since then, like he just was satisfied having cheap stuff to vape. But I just then took it to the whole new level and just dove down that rabbit hole super fast. Just and he's since then, like, you know, he's still kind of just doing his thing, not mixing much, but I just took it, and then I wondered, like, why did it take me so long to do this? Because it's so easy and so fast and cheap, and it's great, and plus it's so much fun.
Yeah, but it's intimidating. I actually was tricked into DIYing.
How were you tricked?
Well, when I had a juice line. When I had a juice line, I actually was looking for a developer, somebody to develop my e-liquid. I did not want to really mess with that, blah, blah, blah. And he started giving me prices of what it would cost, and he would develop it and make it and mix it and send me the bottles, and I could put it out and blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, he says, you know what? I don't really want to do that. How about I just send you my lab and you do it yourself? Oh. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'll just, I'm getting out of the business. He's in California, getting out of the business. I just don't want to do this anymore. It's just, I've actually quit vaping now. Here's my entire lab for $200. And I was like, what does that mean? So he sent me nicotine, VG, PG, all the flavors. Now, how dangerous was that? And just mailed me the shit in exchange for a check, a snail mail check that he was supposed to receive in the mail that I did send him. And I got all that stuff, and it was here, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. And
what am I going to do?
Yeah. I was like, what do I do with this? And the nicotine was from... Well, that's how I found out where to buy nicotine, because I didn't even know where to buy the nicotine. We weren't making nicotine yet. Back then, nicotine, 48 milligrams was what most people used, max. I mean, 100 milligrams came, like, I'd say about 6 months after I started mixing. But they didn't even sell it. They didn't even sell it unless you had a commercial license. You couldn't buy 100 milligrams. So that I got tricked into it. And then I didn't know what to do with anything. And I was
you just started mixing.
I was just pouring from the little, it came from Wizard Labs, pouring from the little Wizard Lab little glass drams into a 15 ml bottle of glass bottle, and 48. So back then I was also vaping at 24, I think it was 24 milligrams, because it was back in the regular.
Back then had little ego pens, and so it was like
ego pen stuff, and it was
it's like a pod now, you know, like
even pods are better than that shit. And it was the cartomizers. I was using cartos, and there were some people that were building, but those builds and those addies had like these tiny little holes, and they had to be drilled and all that stuff, and I had no interest in doing any of that shit. So I was taking that 48 milligrams of nicotine, pouring half, eyeballing it. I had my little bottle, and I would take that 48 milligrams, and I would hold the bottle, and I would eyeball it till I thought it was about half of that bottle. Then I would put my flavor on top. Then I would top it up with VG. And that's how I mixed. Didn't have any kind of weight, rhyme, or reason. And I could eyeball what I thought was about 15% of flavor was like to right about here on the bottle. And I would make sure I had about that much flavoring in it. And then I would do the nicotine and the VG. It was crazy.
That's real tribal right there. It's like throwing potatoes and meat in a pot and just wishing that it turns out all right.
Yeah, it worked. It might not have steeped out right, but it tasted good for a day or two. I was only doing 10 mils at a time, so I mean 24 milligrams, you can't let that shit steep.
Oh snap. Oh, speaking of origin stories, when did you start vaping, Raven? When did you start like getting into it, and why?
I started vaping in August of 2010, a week after I lost my dad from cancer. So I've been vaping 9 years now.
Wow, awesome.
I'm sorry. Was he
cancer sucks, but it's life.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the more you can try and help a smoker get off of cigarettes, the better. Because as y'all know, I'm huge into advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
But with everything the FDA is doing right now, it beyond angers me, because the FDA gets every bit of their money from pharmaceutical research, pharmaceutical sales. And if cancer goes away and we get healthy adults that are living for their kids and they're being healthy for themselves and they actually have a life, it hurts the FDA. So it beyond pisses me off because it's my opinion. The FDA wants to keep cancer, COPD, emphysema. They want to keep it around so that they can make their millions of dollars.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, as someone who's lost somebody to cancer, they're wrong. And it pisses me off. They don't want healthy people. They don't want to pay attention to the research that is out there from the Royal College of Physicians. They want to put bullshit research out there for popcorn lung or whatever, and it's beyond aggravating. So as an advocator, don't be afraid to talk to people about the benefits of vaping. Don't let YouTube videos fool you that vaping is bad. It's not bad. It saves lives. It really does.
It does. And we know that. And we're here to help people who want to get beyond that and learn to be independent from all this stuff and try to make their own mixes and stuff like that. You know, so you've been vaping 9 years, so you probably started on Cardos as well, or the Ego pens.
Ego twists with the clear misers.
We didn't even have the Ego twist yet when I started. We didn't even have the Ego.
The old acrylic tanks that you had to put the big long coils in. That's what I started with.
Those were the what I used to call them. They look like octopuses, hanging down, little legs hanging out.
Yep.
The Vivi Novas. That's what it was. The Vivi Novas that cracked if you put any kind of you put pineapple in that or banana in that, and that's it. There goes your tank.
You put anything citrus, cinnamon, kiss your tank goodbye.
And that's where electric tape came in handy. And you just electric tape the outside of that thing. And you know, I had my husband looking at PVC pipes to see if we could find a piece of a pipe that I could use instead of that acrylic shit.
Yep.
Jeez. That's crazy. Well, like the first mods, that's why they called them mods, right? Because they were made from stuff, like different things.
There is another project I'm working on, if it's all right to talk about it.
Sure.
In May 11th to be exact, myself, Kim Dixon, and Paul Casper are going to be doing a raffle of prizes for donating to Tia Vapes GoFundMe for her son who has congenital heart failure. And any money raised, you will be entered in for that raffle. It will be happening May 11th, but you can DM myself at Paul Casper or at Kim Dixon, and we will make sure you get entered into that. But we want to try and help Tia Vapes out because that kind of care, it's expensive. And that little boy's gone through numerous surgeries in his short 5 months of life. So, you know, Lucas the Lionheart, because it takes a lot of courage, not only for him to go through it, but for his family.
Oh, that's kind of you,
Yeah.
Raven. And yeah, if anybody wants to help donate, I think that's because it's very hard. Like, we're all adults now, and until you have children or you hang around children, you really don't think about like how they feel, because they're very innocent little things. You know, they don't complain much. They just they're like puppies to me. They eat, sleep, play. They just want to have a good time, make you happy, you know, at that young age. And then to suffer like that, and you can't really do anything, you know, it's all relying on the doctors. And we all got to live our lives. Look how old we are now, right? Over 25, you know? And then to think that they won't be able to experience that, all the, you know, heartbreaks and all the love and the fun that we get because they have a disease
Well,
they can't help.
And
you
as
know?
a parent of two special needs kids, it's hard to face a future when you don't know if that kid will have a future. So there's so much wondering when it comes to kids with special needs. And you can't help but love them when they smile at you. They can make a bad day great. They really can.
Yeah.
But you have your trials, you have your tribulations with them. But it's taking one day at a time.
Yep.
Well, and now we got a good plug-in here, so people know to look out for that and to try to help out where they can, if they can, and just be available. Anybody that wants to do that, she'll add. Maybe we'll be able to put a little link on the group so that you guys can see it and, you know, help out if you can.
Yeah, if you can help out, awesome. I have one more question before we wrap things up for Raven. What is your white whale, or you know, that thing that you've been wanting to mix up, or that profile that you know you've been thinking about, or maybe you've tried to do it and you just can't get it right? What's that? What's your white whale?
As much as I love Pony on Acid, I would love to be able to have something as close to that flavor profile as I could get.
What's the flavor profile?
It is a glazed strawberry with hints of pineapple and cream.
Cool.
You know, I've got a glazed strawberry and cream that's pretty good. I wonder if I put like a touch of pineapple in it. I've never tried the real Pony on Acid, but I wonder how close it would be to Pony on Acid.
Yeah, you got me wanting to mix a strawberry and cream with strawberry glaze with touch of pineapple. Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing with that flavor profile, you get a touch of almost like a cooked caramelized strawberry to it.
Right.
And there's no real crust, but you get just a hint of like that cinnamon graham crust in it.
It still might have some in it because a lot of flavors that, you know, like I've tasted some of the Naked 100s and they're supposed to be just straight fruit, but I could taste the vanilla notes in it. I could taste that they have a certain amount of cream in it, even though they're claiming that they're not claiming any of the cream. They're just claiming the fruit, but they're using them as accents and as boosters. You know what I mean? So there might be some.
Or you can like Naked Lava Flow. I don't care what anybody says, that there is a touch of a cooking note in there.
I had Naked Lava Flow. That is delicious.
So, Folk Art has a Rudolph on Acid on all the flavors. I haven't mixed it up, so I don't know how close it is, but it's something maybe worth checking out. And then, yeah. So,
pretty interesting. So what are we doing next week? We got the judging show.
The dreaded judging show. Shindo's in chat,
Yeah.
darn you.
At least he's in chat, keeping us entertained. That means he's paying attention. I hope he likes my mix.
Yep, next week is the judging show. Oh, we have people in chat. We have a special judge who may just burn us, like just burn us to us.
Yeah, so
it was hard even picking my recipe because I wanted to make sure that
girl, you ain't lying.
Going to talk about pepper or puke or whatever. Yeah. All these flavors he takes.
All these judges have been
garbage
so far.
Are we gonna tell chat who it is? The guest judge?
I just did. I just let it slip. It's Dave, ID10T. So he has nothing. He has no problem with telling you how it is. So he's.
Oh my God! I'm so scared.
He's gonna be brutal, but it's good because the judges so far they've been very easy and kind and like so. I want a little bit more critique. So It'll be
I
fun.
don't want any. Dave, listen to me. I gave you mango gummies. You be nice to me. I don't care if we argued on Reddit. I gave you gummies. Don't do this to
How'd
me.
you give him gummies? I gave him gummies.
Oh, so that's what's
Oh,
happening.
you sent him the actual gummies?
Yeah, I actually sent for his birthday.
Oh, that's bribery. That's against the law.
That was last year. That wasn't bribery.
Disqualified.
He's ordering his own.
Disqualified. Your recipe's out. You send a judge some bribes.
I didn't send him mangoes this time. This was last year. He just has to remember the feeling of those gummies in his mouth as he's like tearing apart my recipe.
I just want you guys to know that in chat earlier, Lino Velez made me laugh in the middle of Raven talking, and Raven, I wasn't laughing at you, so it was just really bad timing on his behalf. But he said when I started vaping, they just put the shit in a pot, boiled it, and I put a hot towel over my head.
That Vicks Vapor Rub minty. Ah, shoot. Well,
All right. All right. Well, I think that's the show, ladies. Raven, thank you so much for coming on. You're awesome, and so glad nice to meet you face to face. Put a face to a name, so that's always fun.
definitely. Thank you, Raven, for coming on.
Thank you for coming on and braving, hanging out with us. I know that we're very chatty and we barely let you talk.
Y'all are
Thank you
great.
for being here with us, for real.
Y'all are great.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Everyone have a good night. Enjoy what's left of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Bye, guys. We love you. Thank you for all those gifts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.